What excites you here at Liminal?
At Liminal, we are taking a lot of steps and verifications in that. Application is pretty safe and secure. Liminal, we are building a new team in Hyderabad. I use the word paint because it requires a lot of detailing to it.
Hey Rakesh, you worked with Yahoo, you worked with PayPal, and now Web3 with Liminal. Can you take us through how the tech product development has evolved over these transitions, and how has your experience been?
Oh, pretty good. In fact, if you look at it from the way we have started the whole technical product management and the product engineering side of it, there has been a huge change from waterfall to agile side of it as well, right? So I have been involved in the web 1, web 2, and now web 3 at Liminal as well. So I can surely talk about the kind of the changes that we have gone through, or work through all those kind of things. At Liminal, we work on quite a lot of agile based product engineering side of it especially, and product team and the engineering team work so close on it, and then work on all the different set of items that we need to deliver on a timely manner. And those timely manners are very short because we need to be competing with other customers as well, our competitors as well. And if I look back, Yahoo days and all that, the releases used to be very long, and it started shortening over a period of time. Now we are in this liminal days. At Web3, we need to be getting closer to weekly releases or probably bi-weekly releases and things like that. It's been a tremendous journey. And the technology changed along with that as well. So that's also need to be talked about it, the whole thing.
So what are some challenges and even opportunities in building global scale products in this space specifically?
So if you look from the Web3 perspective, Web3 is a very challenging side of it, primarily because this involves a lot of decentralization, and we want to, there are quite a lot of risks associated with it as well, right? If you look at it, right? Since the day, Web3 started bringing in the cryptocurrency part of it, this has become an open area for people to, explore and exploit as well to some extent. So naturally, the challenges are to keep the system as secure as possible and making sure that the hackers are not using it, because in the days of web 1 and web 2 we had a different mechanisms, and kind of the security was evolving. It now the web 3, one of the prime area that we are all spending a lot of time on it is especially bringing the security into it, right? The blockchain brings in its own from the data perspective, but we need to be from the server perspective also. We need to be looking in terms of building those security as well, so that you are not some mischievous people who don't even come into the system and things like that. So to do this one at the engineering level, product level, they should also understand in terms of what is need to be done in this particular case, right? And at the time of development, people should be more focused on bringing in those kind of aspects into the development itself. Otherwise, it's not an afterthought and say that, hey, I've done my coding, now you figure this out, the security problem. It has to be coming in from the developers and from the product side as well. So we at Liminal, we are taking a lot of steps and verifications in that particular way to make sure that the requirements have called out those specific cases that may arise as part of the security. And development team also thinks about, from the security perspective or from the data perspective as well. And ultimately the security team and the QA team eventually checks on all of those items as well. So it has been it's a lot of risk, a lot of challenges associated with that too.
So what are some of the opportunities here?
So naturally, bringing in the systems into more secure is the one of the things, right? And now cryptocurrencies or crypto technology itself, blockchain itself gives you from the data perspective. My point is more from the server perspective. How do we do that, right? There has been a lot of technology around it, and the kind of access to the system has been, one of the key way that we are trying to achieve it as well, so that, you don't actually directly won't be able to access to your servers and things like that. And at Liminal, we are looking in terms of multiple things, right? Especially talking from the blockchain perspective or the cryptocurrency perspective, MPC is one other thing which we are building it our own side of it, right? And bringing in those, into the system so that it will be secure enough to take it forward as well. So it's an opportunity for Liminal, of course, to build that kind of a technology and then probably publish it to a larger audience outside as well later on in time.
So Rakesh, tell me a little bit about in this particular space, how do we develop technology? What are the challenges and some opportunities in terms of developing products for a global scale in our world?
Sure. So there are multiple things to be considered, right? One is about the localization or the internationalization part of it. That is means the application is accessible to anybody who is with the different languages and barriers, and it should be supporting those. Second one is with respect to the system's availability on different regions at different point of time. And we also need to consider the third part of it is especially with respect to the security, right? When we are talking about the security, the application security, the server security, and all that, right? So to do this one, everybody, including the product team to engineering team to, the quality evaluation, and everybody should be involved and understand the capabilities and that needs to be built into it as well, right? So there are cases where, the server security is one of the paramount case, right? Especially the things like we want to be ahead of anybody for that matter. Especially, we don't want to get into challenges with respect to the servers availability and those things. Security has to be kept always on top of it. Second part of it, especially from the engineering perspective, we need to be thinking from the security perspective as well, thinking from the day one, saying that whatever I'm doing it is secure enough to launch it into any kind of region, any kind of servers for that matter. The product should be thinking about it, writing about it as well. So at Liminal, we've been taking a quite lot of interest and kind of pain in this particular way. So I use the word pain because it requires a lot of detailing to it, and naturally we need to be going in that as well. So the product spends a lot of time to understand the requirement better, then kind of call out the specifics that needs to be called out. And engineering team, when it gets into the discussion, naturally they make it even more, evaluate it further to see if there is any gap, and that discussions goes on a regular basis. So Liminal always brings in that sort of a thing. So that's very interesting thing at Liminal as well that I enjoyed with the, especially with the product team and the engineering, some of the discussions that we've been having. So this is one of the big opportunity. And from the opportunity perspective, Liminal has been spending a lot of time on this security part of it to make sure that the application is pretty safe and secure to use it at any point in time. And we are bringing in our own MPC logic into it, so that will make our even access to the crypto wallet will be much more secure as well for us.
Okay, Rakesh, tell me, how do you manage large cross-functional, multi-country teams and get them to develop the same product and come out winning?
So at Liminal, we are building a new team in Hyderabad as well, right? So this is going to be a little bit of expansion of the engineering team being available in Hyderabad. So this is one of the area which I've worked on it earlier as well, especially in my Yahoo days or VMware days or PayPal days. I had teams which was either in Chennai, US and things like that. So we used to work in this particular case. So the best way of working in this particular case is to give the accountability and make sure that we have a clear-cut requirement for each of the team and avoid as much as interdependency, so that it'll become much more easier for the team to work independently and deliver it independently as well. In Liminal, and the Hyderabad team will be coming up in this particular shape as well. They will have a lot of opportunity to work independently on some of the requirements that is coming in and help us, deliver those without much of cross team, interactions and things like that. So this is something is the one way to solve these kind of cross team challenges as well. And I'm looking forward to, participation from all the team members within my group as well to step into this particular way as well, right? To not take the ownership and then accountability on all of that as well. And if you look further, second part of is about the culture, right? Biggest problem with the cross team in a different regions is the culture is the big problem. You should understand what they work on, how they culturally fit into that sort of a part of it as well. So this is very tricky part of it many of the times, because it's people should understand, how a region A works versus a region B works and all that. So that's a soft skills that we need to teach people, and that's something which we have to take care of it as well. At Liminal right now, it's my biggest focus is on Bangalore team and the Hyderabad team working very independently to deliver the products that we are asking at this point in time. That's a big challenge for me right now. We'll take it up from there.
Let's talk a little bit about how you spot the perfect team member. How do you spot innovation potential in a person when you are looking to hire?
So many of the times the one of the key parameter that I look in an individual when I take an interview is primarily the passion in which he brings his topic, right? So we talk about the project. We don't want to ask the questions of what you know, rather I wanted to understand how much he understood from his own projects, right? So there are quite a lot of talented people who gives those kind of out, and then so I normally look for the people talking about the product with proudly and then giving that kind of deep passion, right?
Yeah.
And it's very, very important, right? And unless otherwise, if you are asking very monotonous question and it will be answered, then it will become, that the person probably wouldn't have involved much in this. So I look this as one of the key parameters in that, how much he deeply understood. It doesn't matter which level this person is coming in from. Depending on the person's passion, naturally he or she can go any level, if that matter, right? So that is one of the big checkpoint for me whenever I interview anybody. It doesn't matter which level. So that is what I take it as well. Now, on your second question, part of it, what are the innovative mechanisms or innovations that the people are bringing in, or identifying the innovations within our work itself. So these are all some of the things which you always need to understand from the work perspective as well. Especially there are cases where you may think that work is progressing as usual and things like that, but you may find that there are some cases where you could have changed the way you think through about that particular problem itself. So naturally, the innovation is all around you, right? And the items are available to you. Right. So you need to probably pick the right thing and then figure this out as well. So if you look at it, if you are doing something very regularly, think through about a mechanism where you can automate it completely, right? So that's a big innovation that you need to bring in. Process innovations, yeah. Right? So sometimes you see that, we have built simple example, we have a lot of engineering process itself available, right? Especially the release process and things like that. But it can get monotonous over a period of time. The reason for that is same process again. It's repeatable, right? So we need to find out, why it is, we are getting into specifics, and are there any challenges, and we can probably innovate and bring in some stitches the challenges over there as well. So we normally work on those kind of things, look for those kind of items and get it as well. So automation is one very key important factor in this particular case. People should be always thinking through about how to bring in those kind of items and then start building it itself.
Great. Let's talk about why you joined Liminal and what excites you here at Liminal.
Yeah, so I think I talked about my journey so far. I've been, in the industry for quite some time and almost worked through Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. I heard about it. I haven't actually got a complete involvement into those kind of things, because in PayPal or anywhere, it is primarily stopped at the Web 2 part of it as well. So Web 3 brings in a lot of new capabilities and decentralizing it and bringing in the cryptocurrency part of it as well. So there are a lot of user-centric, items in this particular Web3 as well. So when I was looking through some of the opportunities and Liminal case came through, talked about it, understood, talked to Mahin, and got quite a lot of understanding what we do and how we do and things like that. It just excited me to learn something new as well, and probably teach the team back as well what I learned to some extent.
Great. So what do you do on a weekend, say, to unwind, and what are some of your favorite things to do when you're not working?
So my weekends are normally starts with a little bit of check on all the emails, just to be sure that I'm just, right, just to be sure that there are some no pressing problems or any kind of a customer requirements coming in the weekend and things like that. So beyond that, spend some time understanding some of these technology challenges, because when I talk to people over here, they come up with some new things about it. I wanted to take weekend probably to understand, read a little more about it, so that next week when I'm talking to them, I have some more rather than learning it as. Otherwise, listen to Pink Floyd.
Listen to Pink Floyd. That sounds like a plan. So you keep reading and keep yourself updated. How do you stay ahead? This technology changes so fast.
It is not easy for anybody to be touching on everything that is going around the world, right? So always look for something what is always been you're working on right now, and the things that is in the progression, right? In terms of from the research and development side of it, what is coming out in this particular domain that is interesting. So some of those things are the primary items that I may be interested. I'll be reading about it. Just other things are just talk to some friends, understand what they do, and probably learn from them. If it is interests me, like, just go and read a little more about it, and then, that's probably it, right? But it's always I spend the time on the domain that I work on, understand something R&D side of it, what they're trying to bring in, how this is going to solve my current problem. Can I, bring it into my organization and then probably help the engineering team to perform better? So those are some of the ways I look at these kind of items as well.
So how do you energize yourself? Because this, like you said, process is sometimes day after day repeat of the same thing, and continuous improvement, innovation, whatever it is. How do you energize yourself? Where do you seek your energy from?
Oh, so it's a, if you look at it, Liminal has a very young talent at this point in time. I think that one of the reason I've come to office on a daily basis is primarily to interact with those people, right? Get a lot of energy. So, so talking to them, giving, they have a lot of fresh idea that has been, they can surely part with me. I mean, give it to us as well. So we'll think through, right? Some of the discussions I have one-on-ones and things like that, I have it. It gives me a different perspective about the way of thinking, right? Probably I'm an old school person thinking in a straight line, but there are quite a lot of new ideas come in part of this. I ask them to try it out and things like that. So those are some of my one-on-ones in the offices happening as well, right? And this gives me a different perspective. Oh, I'm not catching up with these people, right? So that naturally need to energize me in one way or other. Maybe, just get onto some items, like I said, domain specific, understand a little more about it, then talk to them again. That will, keep the discussion to a different level altogether, right? That brings out a new set of ideas, and then probably we should be able to implement it within the organization itself. So that's the only way, probably keep ourselves, and that's how I do it as well at this point in time. Yeah.